Hey everyone, it's Sen Types, and today I'm going to be talking about the greatest stadiums of all time, made by this person down here. Not sure who this is. No, this is Little Dark Fury, another YouTuber. I've not seen the original video, but I'm going to be talking about these cards. I've seen a bunch of these types like tier lists about these cards and card design. I'm going to change the tiers a little bit though. Um, First of all, there are a few stadiums I'm not familiar with. I'm going to make this tier. I'm not that old. Um, so I haven't like played with all these. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll refresh. There we go. So I don't know, a few of these stadiums well, there are a bunch of these stadiums I haven't played with, but there are a few that I have no idea what their impact was on the metagame at all. So I could just kind of guess, but I don't want to do that. And then like I feel like most of these aren't that bad for the game. So yeah, I mean, I feel like some of them like are bad, but like there's a bunch in standard here. A lot of the standard stadiums are here, and they're not that bad for the game. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to say this is going to be stay as game ruining. I'll keep this as or very problematic. Um, you'll see what I mean. Some are problematic, but not game ruining. I'll get to it. Toxic but not game ruining is fine. I'm gonna remove this tier. I don't really know what's going on here. I'll say good for the game is kind of weird. Like a game could be toxic, but also good for. I don't know. I'm gonna say, I'll keep. So I'm looking at the stadiums. I feel like none of these are really like that good for the game. Maybe chaotic swell, but I don't know. I wouldn't like say that's like super awesome. I'll just say I'll have a fun tier, which is like a very fun tier, then a pretty cool tier. Not as cool. And I'm gonna get rid of this like gatekeeper, but not too toxic. Like, what is a gatekeeper stadium? Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, so I gotta change the colors real quick here. There we go. So, so we got broken time space, right? This is the stadium. So if you don't know what the stadium does, I did not play the stadium in format. However, I know a bit about it. It says each player may evolve a Pokemon that he or she just played or evolved during that turn. This card is problematic. I don't know exactly how bad it was at the time. It's notoriously one of the most broken cards ever because it just lets you like pull off broken combos. It just completely breaks the rules of the game as well. So there are rules of the game, and they're there on purpose. And so it's like breaking them. Yes, you can bend them and break them, and that's what makes the game interesting with certain new cards. Like Alakazam EX is interesting exclusively because it breaks the rules of the game. However, you shouldn't do that completely. You can't just say like, I don't know. This breaks them too much. It feels so. I like Pokemon TCG custom cards. They can push the boundaries further, and they have to push the boundaries further than actual cards to be interesting. But they're not actual cards. That's the whole point. This feels like an absurdly broken card. It's one of the oldest stadiums on this list, if not the oldest, and it's yeah. I don't know what this stadium is. Is that Lost? It's like one of the Lost stadiums. Yeah, Lost World. Um, I don't know very much about this card to be honest. I know of it in Legacy format. Um, I'm gonna put it. I'm not that old. I don't know too much about it. I feel like it wasn't like that good, but yeah, same thing with these stadiums. Giant Stump. It's kind of like some other stadiums we'll talk about. I have no idea what these two stadiums are. I like looked at the one. I couldn't even find the other. I just did a tiny bit of like looking around before this started. So yeah. Also, hopefully I say the stadium names right. I don't remember the names of all of these. But let's start with the ones that are in standard. We have a few from Scarlet and Violet, right? Because Broken Time Space. These are all the ones that are pre-legacy, or no, sorry, pre-expanded. This one's in Legacy. So I feel like other people also won't be as familiar with them. So if you have commentary on them, though, tell me about these down below. And if I'm wrong, Broken Time Space, I don't know. It's like such a notorious reputation of being like super problematic, though. And we'll talk about Forest of Giant Plants as well later on. These like all are just a big mess. I'm struggling to differentiate between which ones which because they all look shockingly similar, like just like this. But Town Store is searching for a and pretty cool is like okay, so I'm not that old. This is not. I'm gonna make this gray. It's not good or bad. It's just old. So fun. This is good. This is bad. This is like okay. Um, And so we have, what was it? Town store, search for a tool. Searching for a tool is obviously, like kind of good. I mean, it sees some competitive play. It sees play in the variety of decks. It's kind of versatile, I guess. The big issue is ignoring the Iron Thorn stack. If we see it, let's take a look at the tools. What's it two of? It's Forest Seal Stone. I think Forest Seal Stone is not a very well designed card. I think it opens up some interesting ideas. It plays somewhat similarly to Computer Search, but it's searchable. Um, Also, sorry if there's any background noise, but yeah, Force Seal Stone is. I think it has some issues. You look at the other tools. You got Bravery Charm, Rescue Board. They're kind of cool. Town Store is specifically created to help out tools, obviously, but specifically because Pokemon wanted to help out tools with the new tool rulings with Scarlet and Violet. So that's why this card's here. I think it's a pretty cool card. Nothing too crazy. I don't think it's toxic at all or problematic. I don't think it's super interesting either. It's fine. Actually, I'm going to add a tier above this. It's going to be fine, nothing crazy, not fire, fine. There we go. And that will be, oh, yep, we got another color for that. I was going to say, feel like we're missing a color. So that'll be fine, not bad. Art Zone is an interesting stadium. So there's really two types of stadiums. There are, there, sorry, there we go. No, there we go. I got it. Art Zone is a stadium that I describe as like an active stadium or activated stadium versus a passive stadium, kind of like Pokebuys versus Pokepowers or stuff like that, with active and passive abilities. There's stadiums that cause like board state changes. Let's take a look at some more, and then some that you actually choose to use on your turn. Art Zone, Town Store, something you choose to use. Town Store does give you a automatic search deck and a shuffle, which is like kind of cool. Same thing with Art Zone, more or less. I think it's like cool. It synergizes with the identity of Scarlet and Violet, having one of the like minor themes in this, which we'll see yet again with Stellar Crown's Fan Rotom, maybe some other cards, I don't know, but it's the idea of searching for Pokemon, putting them directly on your bench. We see it with Nestball, we see it with Buddy Buddy Poffin, we see it with Art Zone here as well. It's certainly not as big as the tool idea. It's again, I think it's like pretty cool. It's certainly a strong stadium. It's nice that it helps out both players. Stadiums that are super one-sided. That's kind of like the point. You want to be able to make better use of it than your opponent. But if it's a stadium that your opponent can never get any value out of, like ever, then that's not so fun. We'll take a look at some that are very specific, but Art Zone pretty cool. Then we got the Sword and Shield ones, and what's in standard right now? So we got ourselves Pokestop. We got ourselves, Beach Court. Beach Court's fine. Beach Court reduces retreat cost of basic Pokemon by one colorless. It's fine. I think it's nothing crazy. The tiers are not really going to be ordered because I'm going to get confused which way's ordered, unless I have something really important to say about the ordering. But Beach Court is, Beach Court, it's a solid stadium. It helps out certain decks more than others, but it does add, value to all decks. Retreat cost, reducing isn't played around too much. It only helps basics. I don't know. It's okay. Nothing bad about it, but nothing crazy about it either. We do Pokestop in standard, which is a really interesting stadium. I think it's so it says it's an activated stadium yet again, not a passive one like Beach Court, and you can discard the top 3 cards of your deck, and then if you discard any items, put them into your hand. It's a little confusing with its wording, how it just interacts with certain cards that are just very unintuitive. It is played in a bunch of decks. I'm not going to do this for every stadium, but I'll do it for some, so you can see it in a good chunk of decks, and it almost enables decks. If we take a look at Raging Bull Ogerpon is a deck that I'm not a big fan of here because of its like lack of engine. However, you do have Pokestop, which is like part of the engine. You do have like Ogerpon. You have Squawkabilly, so you have a turn 1 engine, but you don't have Ogerpon. You have Ogerpon, Raging Greninja, UEX, but they're not like super strong engines. So Pokestop's a substantial part of that. Then you have so you have that, which is like fine, but then I think it enables very like turbo-y based decks. All these decks are arguably what defines a turbo deck in standard is playing Pokestop. I feel like that's kind of something people might say. Some of these decks like Chimpanzee Caliber, that's not really a turbo deck or anything like that, but it does. I'm gonna put it in a little bit toxic. It's kind of weird, confusing, and some of its interactions. That's not why it's falling here, but that does hurt it. But then it also does. It's kind of annoying. Creates these situations where you might have to essentially roll. It's like rolling dice, where you have a random outcome where it could be really, really good, could be really, really bad, and could like actually like hurt you a ton, which I don't like. I think it has some serious issues. It's not like a super bad card, but I definitely think it is one of the bigger whiffs on stadiums that we've seen by Pokemon recently. There's one that I don't see on here. No, there's two that I don't see on here, but I'll talk about with another one. But yeah, I think it's the second slash third worst stadium printed within the last, like 5 years or so. I feel like Pokemon's done a pretty good job of printing good cards, though. Then we have Collapse Stadium. Each player discards their bench, or sorry, can only have 4 bench Pokemon. Discards if they have some. This is a really cool card. A Collapse Stadium. We might need to reevaluate it with Stellar Crown, but I think it's okay for now. Saying that Stellar Crown because of Area Zero Under Depths, which that's a really good stadium, but we'll talk about that with Skyfield. But Area Zero, or sorry, no, Collapse Stadium is fine. I think it's a cool stadium. It's a little annoying, so I will put it just in fine here. By no means bad, but yeah, pretty solid. Has a lot of interesting strategic depth to it, and also isn't a card that like sometimes if you make the wrong decision, you can be in a really bad spot, but usually not. Usually you'll just be in like a slightly worse spot, which is good. I feel like cards that are crushing if you make mistakes are bad. Then we have anything else in standard. We got Temple Sinnoh here, turning off special energy. It's fine. It's a little annoying. It's honestly not very impactful because special energy isn't very good. It never really has been. Well, Temple Sinnoh's been in form, and I feel like. I mean, Lugia Archeops is a big deal. I guess it was good against like Lugia Archeops. I'm kind of forgetting exactly what the metagame was like. Um, let's say here at this tournament, what am I looking at? Okay, let's look at this tournament instead. We have Arceus. Lugia wasn't out at this time, so I don't know. I mean, if we'll look at a little higher here, it stops Lugia. It's okay. Um, it's fine. I guess it was impactful early on in the format, but it wasn't like there was counterplay to it as well. So whatever. Not a bad stadium. It's like a defensive countery stadium, but it's not that annoying. I feel like so that's fine. We got Lost City as well. This causes Pokemon they get knocked out, put into Lost Zone. This is interesting. It's kind of counter to counters, and it's okay. Yet again, put in the same tier as Temple Sinnoh. Can be a little annoying. Generally, it's fine. Can certainly help things out and like balance things out. Cards being well designed is not just about balance, but I feel like it is pretty balanced. It's a little tame, but nothing like too bad. I think that's it for ones in standard, unless I'm just missing something. So let's talk about some that are a little before then. Why on earth is Crystal Cave here? Crystal Cave is fine. It's not bad. It's not that good. Yeah, that's like a healing stadium. Same thing with Glimwood Tangle? What was Glimwood Tangle played in? So first of all, so here's Crystal Cave. Here we go, Healing Metal and Dragon Pokemon 30. It was played in Mew Genesect. It was played as really a filler card in that deck. Played in some Dragon decks. We got Zungudu Restart and Draldon VMAX as a tanky option. And that's really about it. So, nothing much to see here. Then it was like fine. Certainly a solid card. Rough Seas, we'll talk about Rough Seas later, but Rough Seas was more meaningful. Crystal Cave was not very meaningful. But then we had Glimwood Tangle. Glimwood Tangle was actually earlier, but excuse me, it just like caught my eye. So Glimwood Tangle was played in these decks apparently. I don't really view Genesect. Oh, with Radiant Jirachi. Okay, so Glimwood Tangle is really a not like. It's fine. What that's not Glimwood Tangle. Glimwood Tangle, yeah. Like let's see reflip coin flips. It's fine. It's a cool card, I guess. I'll put it in pretty cool. The effect in the game having this, we saw it with Victini. It might have been multiple Victini. I think it was. Then we also saw it on Trick Coin. Then we saw it in Glimwood Tangle. It's a solid way to help coin flips out. I've been looking at some custom cards. Some of those very quickly break into the realm of completely broken. Glimwood Tangle is certainly not a completely broken card. It was not very good, but whatever. It's fine. It's just fun. Coin flips are kind of cool, and it makes them feel better as well. Makes them feel more dramatic, and I think it's really cool. I'm not a big fan of coin flips. I imagine some people would definitely be putting this card in very fun, but also takes some of the joy out of coin flips because if you're re-rolling, then is that really the natural coin flip? I don't know. Then we have Path. Okay, so why is Tower of Waters? Tower of Waters is like fine for the game. It's I'll put it, yeah. So it is fine. It's not like cool. It helps reduce the retreat cost of Rap Strike Pokemon. Random complaint about this card. Uh, so Rap Strike. Tower of Waters here. We got reducing retreat cost of Rapid Strike by 2. We see it in Urshifu VMAX decks. That's essentially all Urshifu VMAX. It's played in Malamar and Teleon. Let's take a look at Malamar. It's got a retreat cost of 3, so it doesn't get free retreat, which is kind of silly. Um, yeah, whatever though. It's certainly fine. Not that impactful. Helped out Rapid Strike. Didn't need this card. It has synergy with stuff. We could talk about Rapid Strike more at some other time, but it's just fine, I feel like. Then we have what else? We got Path. We got to talk about Path, right? Path of the Peak is one of the more controversial stadiums ever, or most controversial stadiums ever. I feel like, arguably the best stadium ever with its effect here, which says Pokemon with the rule box and play have no abilities. This isn't the game now with Iron Thorn GX, which is obviously very good, better than I was expecting. Though I didn't understand that. I didn't know it was good, but it's really good. I would say it's toxic, but not game ruining. It did kind of keep certain decks in check. See the decks playing it. Some did have abilities, but did sacrifice their own abilities. Like Mewtwo Max is a very good deck, but Mewtwo Max is really good, right? So Mewtwo Max does play it. It's not the only deck playing it by any means, and it did counter Mewtwo Max. It didn't really counter Mewtwo Max very well though, because the deck is playing it. So I'd say it's certainly one of the best stadiums of all time because it completely like clamped down on a lot of the meta decks. It also allowed for some moderately interesting engines, but looking back on it, I feel like I don't know, I just don't think that much of the deck. Look at the meta games, like if you look at when it came out in Chilling Reign, I'm just gonna go look at the online decks here. Chilling Reign here, we can see metagame look, or before that, we see the metagame looks like this, shuts down and turns VMAX, certainly hurts a lot of these other decks, kind of like anti-turboed some decks, but whatever, I feel like it certainly changed the metagame some. We see like Dragapult and Teleon being a deck that doesn't play any abilities that are turned off. Yeah, it doesn't play any, runs a bunch of Path to the Peaks and things like that. So open up the Inteleon engine to be much stronger. Calyrex and Inteleon, the water one, obviously. Path to the Peak, Inteleon engine, which we saw a lot of, which is fine. I don't think it's like that problematic or that good. Like Urshifu and Inteleon here, probably not running Path, running Tower of Waters, does run a Crobat V, which is shut down by Path. So I think it's a little toxic. It certainly is a really annoying stadium and really powerful, but I think it's only toxic. Then we have some other stadiums of this era. Galar Mine just increased retreat cost by 2. It's a little annoying. Also, it's toxic. The counterplay isn't like great. The playing with it isn't great. It had some interesting interactions with Leafeon VMAX, but I don't think it was designed with that in mind. So yeah, I think it's a little toxic. Control stadiums are a little toxic. Then we have what else? Oh, I'll talk about Power Plant. No, I'll talk about Power Plant just when we get to it. So then we have Magma Basin. That's in Standard. That's a really cool stadium. I feel like that's fun. Accelerates fire energy. It would have been broken in the past, but it's not. It's not that good. It's okay. It's probably the best fire card or fire support in the game. Yeah, but it's fine. Fire is not a very good type right now. I mean, Charizard DX is good, but that's not really a fire deck. It depends how you count it, and it doesn't play Magma Basin. So, yeah, I think Magma Basin is a pretty fun card. If we look at Magma Basin and the decks that play it, there we go. Here it is. I feel like most people would agree that these decks are pretty cool. We have some control-based decks. Like Snorlax Pidgeot, but like Magma Basin doesn't make this deck not fun. No, that's not true. Radiant Charizard, Chewy X, cool Pokemon. I feel like some people might not love Radiant Charizard, but generally I feel like Magma Basin, most of these decks are fun. Got some Lost Zone decks, but Magma Basin adding just a fun little layer of depth to the deck. If you don't like the deck, it's not like you don't like it because of Magma Basin. Decks like Arceus Charizard, Entei Box, cool decks. So I feel like Magma Basin's, it's just a cool card. And then we got what is this? Training Court. There we go. Training Court, recovering a basic energy from your discard into your hand. I'm gonna put this in very fun. No, I'm gonna put this in pretty cool. Where does it go? It's pretty cool. It's just a good stadium. Activated stadium helps out a lot of decks in the game. Um, I'd say it's a little annoying in certain situations because if you can't bump it, your opponent can be almost guaranteed game. It doesn't feel super fun, but whatever. It's fine. At the end of the game, Ionoing to your opponent to low hand, betting on them, like not hitting energy. That's not that cool. So for any court, it's fine. Um, then we also have, I think that might be it from Sword and Shield. So then we'll talk about Viridian Forest. Discard an energy or a card from your hand to search for an energy. One of my favorite stadiums of all time. It's not super broken, but it helps every deck. It's a strong stadium, but yeah, it's really cool. It helps literally every deck in the game. Allows you to search your deck, allows you to discard, forces you to discard, but only one. It's really good. Definitely, yeah, one of my favorites ever. Um, Opens up a lot of different options. This is a big deck variety. Was not in every deck by any means. Like looking at the top here, we don't see it in. Well, it might have to do with the COVID. I don't know, but it's not in like all these decks in like the Players Cup or anything like that. So, we see some fun combos. We see it with Granbull, which I just scrolled past. We want a zero card hand and my personal favorite Pokemon here too. But no, Granbull here, no cards in hand, so fun combos with that. Decks that want energies, yeah, just a solid card. I feel like most of these decks here are pretty popular. Ultra Malamar, Ultra Kuzma isn't like the coolest deck in the world. Picrom also isn't necessarily. I feel like Zapdos is pretty cool though. Zoroark, very popular, very iconic, and I feel like just a cool deck. Um, Archie's Blastoise is like one of the crazier decks. Oh, I forgot. There's expanded was like still a thing that existed back then. So we do see some expanded stuff. But yeah, that's definitely a really cool stadium. And then we come to Swell. Swell is a weird stadium. I haven't thought about. So I'm not I did not like pre-planning stuff, right? When I'm recording this, Swell, I have no idea where to put this one. It says whenever a player plays a stadium from their hand, discard the stadium. So it's like the counter stadium, the ultimate counter stadium, because of course, you play a stadium, bumps the one in play, but now this bumps the next one as well. It's like kind of good. I think it was like good for the game, but also it's really boring. There were forms of counterplay, like kind of cool, but kind of weird and just kind of a big mess. Because you had like Pumpkaboo and Marshadow and like Lost Vacuum, and then you Swell. I don't know if that was in the format um with the Pumpkaboo, but or if it was in the format, it definitely wasn't in the format with the vacuum, but might have been in the format with the field blower. I don't remember, but anyway, so we'd have these like stadium and this like counter. It was like whatever. At the end of the day, it really didn't matter that much, but it was fine for the game. Generally good. Countered Path to the Peak, countered just different things. Allowed you to kind of do your thing without being worried about too much disruption, certainly through the form of stadiums. Then we got Giant Hearth, discard an energy, or a card from your hand to search for two fires. Pretty cool. It's like Viridian Forest, less versatile, but it's fine. Certainly a strong stadium as well. Then we have Sun and Moon stadiums. We got the Prism Stars, and we have the non. Let's do the non-Prism Stars first. So we got Power Plant turns off abilities of EX and GXs. It's kind of like Path. It was much worse. By the way, this is capital EXs. Doesn't really matter. I don't think it was in the format with like any EXs at all. But yeah, this is fine. I feel like it's like good. The Pokemon it turned off weren't all of them, and you could play like certain cards. It felt pretty fair. I feel like it wasn't super impactful, but not bad. Definitely had times where it shined a lot as well. And then we have Brooklet Hill, Ultra Space, Lysander Labs, Shrine of Punishment, and that's it. So Shrine is pretty iconic. I don't know. I feel like it's iconic. It's the stadium that does damage. It places one damage counter on between each turn. On Pokemon GX and EX, it's like Frostlass, but it's a stadium. It's like cool. It kind of enabled these fun decks. And it's kind of like Path, where it like discourages multi-prizers. I think this is one of the coolest stadiums ever. It's not like it completely destroys your opponent's game plan, but does punish them for playing a game plan that Pokemon wants to discourage in some manner, but did not force them out of the game either. I think it's very good. One of my favorite stadiums ever. Definitely a cool one. Then we have Lysander Labs turns off tools. Lysander Labs, I believe, is the same as Jamming Tower. I don't know if it's the same wording. It's very similar though. It's it's fine, I guess. It's pretty generic, right? whatever. I'm not like hating on Jamming Tower here or Lysander Labs. They're fine, but nothing crazy. Ultra Space. Let's do search, I believe, for an Ultra Beast, right? The text seems long for that. Um, no, that's all it says. Okay, yeah, I mean it's fine. I'll say it's pretty cool. No, I'll just say it's fine. Ultra Beasts are like kind of underdeveloped. They're all basics essentially. Um, yeah, it's kind of like if there was an ancient or future stadium, it's like that. But there isn't, but it's like what if there was? It would just be like this. Then we got Brooklet Hill. Brooklet Hill is pretty cool. Lets you search for a basic water and or fighting Pokemon, and it saw a lot of play, or like a good chunk of play, not like absurd amounts. And there are a few Pokemon I saw play with, notably. No, okay, this deck doesn't play it. Sure, it's got to be some deck that plays it, right? I don't know. I'm looking for Alolan Vulpix, which I was wondering if there was like a Buzzrock deck that played Alolan Vulpix that I could find easily, but I can't find one, or some like fighting deck that played Alolan Vulpix, but people played it, right? Where's the Alolan Vulpix? I've lost it. Um, I don't know. Alolan Vulpix was like a good card. I might have like been skipping past it as well, but it's a fun card. Okay, well, fine. Here it is. So Alolan Vulpix searching for Pokemon. Cool. It's like a setup Pokemon, and then it's searchable off of Brooklet Hill. Notably Buzzwole. You could pair it with Octillery, which is like water. Enabled some like fighting plus water stuff together. It was like cool. I'll say it's pretty cool. Nothing super crazy about it. It's a strong stadium though. Helps certain decks. Doesn't help other decks very much at all, but it's okay. Then we have Wondrous Labyrinth Prism Star. This one's kind of toxic. It increases attack cost of non-fairy Pokemon, which is like every Pokemon, because like who's playing fairy Pokemon, right? It says Prism Star. You can play one copy, gets lost on. It's kind of weird. I think it ended up being okay. We have Heat Factory. Just got a fire draw 3. I mean, it's like pretty cool. Um, Nothing too crazy. I do think Welder's like kind of fun. Heat Factory is certainly fine. Nothing too crazy. Then we have Thunder Mountain. This one also helped out. This helped out Pikarom and Zapdos. Wait, did Zapdos play this? I feel like Zapdos must have played this, right? Um, it allowed you to attack for one less lightning on your lightning Pokemon, which is like kind of cool. I don't think Zapdos played it that much. No, it did. I don't know. Zapdos is like a weird deck. It's a fun deck, but like compared to now, like it just looks so bad. Like its damage output's super terrible. But I mean, even to like compared to like Pikarom, it looks so bad. Pikarom's HP is super low for a three prizer. Even then, it was low for a three prizer. It's the lowest three prizer HP ever, I believe. But its damage output is way more than Zapdos. But yeah, it's a fine stadium. I feel like if you like really hate Pikarom, you're not gonna like Thunder Mountain, but unless you do, then it's fine. It's fine. And then we got we'll talk about the stadium at the end. So we got X and Y and black and white. And not gonna lie, I don't know the difference between these very well. Like black and white versus X, but these are mostly X and Y, aren't they? Okay, whatever. So we got ourselves classics here. We got I don't remember what the flipping ones are called. Okay, well I'll talk about those at the end because I don't remember which one. Oh, the one's Parallel City. So Parallel City is a pretty interesting stadium. Also, the Limitless thing doesn't like show both sides. The one is like kind of useless, which is the one we can read, choose which way it's facing you. So by the way, this is super bad. If someone like bumps it, you could forget theoretically like which way it's facing. That's like a bit of an issue, but not a massive issue. But damage done by grass, water, or fire Pokemon reduced by 20. That's like so niche that like it doesn't matter. So it's not like even back then when like damage was lower, it like could matter. What was the metagame? I don't know. It wasn't that meaningful though. Not completely useless, but not that meaningful. But then we have the other side here, which is you can only have 3 bench Pokemon. This is insane. The Giant Stump Stadium did that, but it was to both players. This does it to one player, which is insane. Allowing you to do one of two things. One of the things is it allows you to completely like shut down your opponent's bench. 3 bench is way less than 5. It's substantially less than 4 in the fact of like how it actually plays as well. It's really rough. So on certain decks specifically, and then also it's really powerful to allow you to discard your own bench Pokemon and allow you to start you can just go ahead and essentially heal up your bench. So that's really good. But it's like super broken. It's that card was really broken. Like you can't read this card as well. It's a big mess. I think there's a reason these cards aren't going to be coming back. What is the other one? Is that some Valley card? Reverse Value. There we go. The ones like Darkness Pokemon do more, and the ones Metal Pokemon take less. I mean, like what is this, right? Um, why is this on here? It's like not great. It certainly has flaws. It's not. It has like the same flaws as Parallel City, the double like switching card, but they're not that big of a deal. I'll put in Toxic. It's not a toxic card. I guess it's fine. Um, I don't know. It's not a great card. Definitely a card I feel like would have been better not seeing, but it's not that bad. It's whatever. Yeah, I'll put it here. I don't know. Um, I'm gonna add a row below, which is just like I don't know. So it just is here in terms of like how like good or problematic it is. It's here, but whatever. Then we got Forest of Giant Plants. This one is the classic card. This is like the classic broken card. Each player is so it's banned, by the way. Oh, we can see all the banned cards. I did not realize we can do that. Anyways, so it's banned because it allows you to evolve grass Pokemon immediately. It was very problematic. It was very problematic when it was in standard. Like, it's not like Pokemon accidentally made this like broken card. No, it was literally in the format with a card that just like allowed you to item lock. This card was super broken. Yeah, it's like weaker than Forest or than Broken Time Space objectively, but it's a stadium, so that's actually worse, or it makes it like better because now it's helping your opponent, and or it's not helping your opponent, it's only helping you, but it's just so good, it doesn't matter. Allows you to do absurd things. Notably, Vileplume just oh, that's not Vileplume. I misclicked. Come on, give me Vileplume. Vileplume item lock. Yeah, Vileplume's it. I think Vileplume's a terribly designed card. Really hard that like just helps the Vileplume work. Like look at this deck. This deck's so boring. It's just walls and it doesn't do like there are some cool aspects about it, but most of them are really, really boring. View EX is a super cool card, which is in format for like 10 million years or something. But Mew EX a really cool card, but also like you can't you're immune to effects of attacks. You're immune to evolution Pokemon. You're immune to basic Pokemon. You're immune to Pokemon EX. What is this? Oh, that's just an attacker. You can get rid of special energy, and then you're invincible. And you can you can't play items. Like no other player can play items. This is so boring. You got like cool cards like Ninja Boy, but I mean, come on, right? This is bad. And then we have Silent Lab, turning off abilities of basics. I feel like it's kind of like Path, toxic, but not game ruining. I don't like Silent Lab. I'm not super familiar with exactly what it shut off within the format, but I mean, I'm experienced with it in expanded. Expanded is like super broken. But in standard is that yes, standard. I mean, like counter stuff. It counters like whatever. It is what it is. It's kind of toxic, but um, yeah, it's not a great design card. I feel like it's not that bad. I feel like it's pretty similar to Path as well. And then we have Team Magma's Secret Base. Why is this card? Is this here because of accessibility? Um, I don't know why it is here. Yeah, I don't know why Team Magma's Secret Base is here. It did like some funny stuff. It was okay. I mean, I'll put it in fine. We'll talk about accessibility later. Fairy Garden, Fairy Treat, Fairy. Like, why is this here? Then we have Dimension Valley, giving cheaper attacks to Psychic Pokemon. I feel like this is fine. What's it? I know it enabled Night March. Oh, we got some like crazy expanded combos too. I'd like Trevenant. Yeah, and, I mean, it's not like the best. I feel like it enabled like who's out here defending? No, that's expanded. Who's out here defending like Trevenant though? Like Trevenant 8, all of that, right? It's not the most fun deck. It's very not fun. I think Trevenant's design. I mean, I feel like Hard Lock is just not good. Pokemon needs to be very careful, and they weren't. They just kind of like gave up. So, yeah, it's not great. Helping Trevenant though, it's not a problematic card. I actually think it's a fun card to play with because it enables some kind of fun combos. Nothing too crazy. Then we have another activated stadium, just kind of fire or fighting energy from your hand. Draw two. It's fine. Then we have Rough Seas, heal 30 from each water or lightning. It's fine. I mean, it did have I was thinking of like Manectric as like kind of toxic. Not like that toxic, but a little toxic with what's it called? Raging. No, what's it? Seas? Rough Seas. There we go. I forgot the name for a second. I mean, okay, yeah, no, like it's good with Seismitoad. Good. Like the decks that was played in were toxic. I don't know why I thought like Mega Manectric when I think like toxic rough seas deck. I think Big Electric. That's like kind of weird, but you got like Wall Stall, aka yeah, just Wall Stall. Like, that's not so fun. Seismitoad, Greninja Break, but like at the end of the day, the card is fine. It's just the stuff around it. Then we got Skyfield. Skyfield 8 bench. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna put this in very fun. It's like very good. Maybe it's definitely like broken good, but also it's like really funny. I think it's one of my favorite stadiums ever. I feel like it's a lot of people's favorite stadiums ever. So yeah, Skyfield really fun. Vermexing Gym increasing poison kind of enables some like donk style like stuff, but it's okay. I'll just say it's fine. And then Vermexing Gym like created some kind of like weird stuff. The metagame like wasn't very good at the time. Like objectively, I feel like the metagame was pretty bad. If we just look at the black and white metagame, that's not it. That's a bit of a spoilers for an upcoming video. But can we find it somewhere? Black and white. This is fine. Oh, I can find a worlds format, so I can find this format's probably fine. That's not a lot of stuff. I was looking for hoping I'd see more stuff. There we go. It's mostly big basics and lock decks. So yeah, these are all big basics lock decks. They're all big basic deck. No, this is not a big basic deck. The rest are all big basic decks. No, wait, what's Sableye Garbodor? This is a lock deck, but it has big like a big basic attacker and stuff. So you just see like absurd amounts of mid basic and lock decks. So it's a pretty bad format to be honest. Like there are no these bottom three are like kind of fun, but I mean look at this. They're collectively 1 in 6. That's not good. So the rest of these, Rayquaza Electric, Kelly Blastoise, they're fine. They're fun. They are big basic decks, but they are like energy ramp decks. They're kind of fun. And then you have, it's not like the worst format ever, but Darkrai, Mewtwo, Landorus, Garbodor, Sableye, the item block, you know. But I'm not gonna say like that's Burbank City's Gym's fault. Burbank City Gym, good stadium card, but like it increases poison by 2. It's the same as I don't remember the name of the stadium. Dangerous Jungle, I think. It's slightly different, but essentially the same. Would actually be better in Darkrai, but it's essentially the same thing. Not a problematic card. Then we come to, yep, I think this card's really bad. It's Tropical Beach. Tropical Beach is really expensive. It's not as expensive as it was. It's only $100. That's just like it's not a good card. How it's designed, design-wise, it's okay. It's a card you can't get. Like literally, look at this. The Japanese, like, but you can't get it. This card, I mean, look, it was literally at one point it was €1,000, which is, I think that's more than dollars. I don't know anything, but yeah. So it's a lot, right? So it was like literally over $1,000. That's absurd. Um, oh, I thought it was going to go back further. That did not. But yeah, it's problematic. I normally don't care that much about card like I feel like cards need to be accessible. It just somehow breaks that so badly. They actually played in are kind of toxic too. Like this is all controlled. But ignoring that aspect, there's some cool decks. Kling Clang, Flareon. There's some cool decks. The deck Empoleon Deathstorm, one of the coolest decks ever. This would be, in my opinion, the coolest deck ever if it didn't play Tropical Beach. I'm not a big fan of Town Map either personally, but whatever. Tropical Beach though, this card, one of my least favorite cards ever. I wish they just had because it's a Worlds promo, you can only get it going to the World Championships. Then people sell it who go to the World Championships. I don't know exactly. I don't know if video game players get it. They might, and obviously, they don't care about it at all because they don't play the TCG. But certainly the TCG players get it, but then they might want to play it. We even got like Paradise Resort, which is the newest one. It's supposed to be bad. The card ended up being better than people thought at Pokemon, so they changed it. Same with Champions Festival. Champions Festival was like the one after Tropical Beach. Eventually started seeing play. Saw a tiny bit of play here. It wasn't that good though. It's like kind of spread out and stuff, but all of a sudden saw a bunch of play in the top deck. boom, essentially got not banned, but like rotated out of the format because is it in form standard now? I don't know, but now that it got replaced with Paradise Resort, Pokemon's like, we don't want people playing these cards. Just make it a card that's like an alternate print of like make it Friends in Hawaii, right? This world is at Hawaii. Make it Friends in Hawaii where it's like the president of Pokemon or something, or maybe not, but make it so it's just like a draw three supporter, or maybe Professor's Research, then something like that. I don't know. Just make it like an alternate print of that, and then people could play it, show it off, and that's cool. And it doesn't have a unique effect, so it's not actually hurting the metagame theoretically. Um, anyway, that was my quick little rant of how those cards are. Which I've done before, but I still think they're really rad. Also, this card, yeah, like this card is $700. That's so much money. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking, subscribing, clicking the bell, all that good stuff. As always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. Take care.